Gonna be experimental. You can hear a lot of background noise, I'm sure. It's my AI eyes tracking. It's a bit creepy. Doing some alt tabbing so you can see the FPS drop. It's trying to get a link. Click. Don't mind my keyboard here. All right. So I'm trying something different here. Gonna try a live devlog, but first, I'm going to be right back. So just give me a minute. Okay, we're gonna try this again here with settings that I may have to keep modifying. I hear a lot of background noise. Couldn't tell you which of the many settings I have going on would help with that. Uh, I have like a whole plugin chain going on over here. It's not a typical headset. But with that out of the way, don't mind my AI eyes staring at the camera here. So my goal for this live stream is to just put visibility on my typical devlog sessions. Now, I have the song visualize. Oh, correction. It's no longer called Song Visualizer. It's called GuitarSesh. And I have to restart the program. Look at step 5. It's not properly translated, converted, or whatever. So let me restart the program. Escape. There we go. Bug fix number 1. Okay, so the program is not currently so I have 3 monitors. The monitor that the program is currently on is not set as my main display. And I'm using Windows 11. Hold on. And the program is currently set to support both Windows and Mac. Not yet focusing on Linux. Perhaps one day. But I don't have an active Linux device to actively test with. So I've stuck with Windows and Mac at the moment. Gonna get a lot of background noise here. Let's see just how much. How far or close should this mic be? Let's see. Kind of new to this whole live stream thing going on. Okay. So I just started the program and it notices that I have OBS open. So it gives a little disclaimer. Though I'm not sure how accurate this disclaimer is, considering the monitor is now set to my main display. But it's here nonetheless. I don't yet have a remember toggle, so every time you boot it and it detects OBS, it's gonna show this pop-up. Okay. And so I'm just gonna go to continue. I don't want to terminate OBS. Let's see. You can hear a lot of typing. Just gonna press continue. Okay. At the start menu, and that's because it skipped over a particular pop-up screen because that's in here. 7 out of 5. So this is a pop-up screen that's going to display at the start of the program only up to X number of times. And it's going to say, hey, I noticed the program that you're trying to set the display to, or I noticed the display that you're trying to set the the display that the program is currently set to at the start of the program. Man, it's so weird verbalizing these things. But basically, it's a way of trying to get less latency, I guess you could say, because you don't want to have stuttery, jittery, laggy note movement. The note movement has to be smooth. And there's several things of diagnosing that in particular. And there's many different variables. It's just like a checklist that the program goes through in order to make sure that the user is able to see the smooth note movement, because there's a lot of scenarios that could lead you to getting the smooth note movement, but there's more scenarios that could lead you to getting the laggy note movement. And I had to find all those different ways that it would be laggy, because what didn't make sense to me is that I tested this software on at least 4 different hardware devices. And one of them that made me very confused is that I tested this on a laptop device for Windows, and I tested this on a desktop device for Windows. And it didn't make sense to me that the software, the notes, the movement, the gameplay loop, the 60 frames per second that I'm expecting, it wasn't smooth on my desktop, but it was smooth on my laptop, and that didn't make any sense to me. I couldn't figure it out why. The desktop has much more powerful hardware than the laptop. Why is the laptop getting this better performance? It made no sense to me. It was backwards. You'd think the opposite. You think the laptop would be laggier than the desktop. It didn't make much sense. And so I had to track why is this happening for like 2 years. Every possible variation. So for the longest time, I would stream the software, use it, play test it on a laptop, because I couldn't figure out why is a desktop so laggy. And until one day I realized, well, I have 3 monitors, and there's something in Windows called the desktop, or the DWM, the Desktop Windows Management, and it's different than Mac. Different operating systems, different logic on how to tackle. So it turns out the Windows operating system, the DWM, so the program that I'm using here, GuitarSesh, it's in windowed mode, right? It's a set resolution. It doesn't take up the full desktop. It's not in full screen mode. And that has some just because of that, just because I'm using the program in windowed mode, not full screen, Windows does its own system of how it chooses when the frames are displayed on the monitor. It's a bit complex, but it comes down to the lag that I was experiencing for all these years, or one of the major components anyway, is caused by my monitor that it's set to is not set as the main display, because I have each of my different monitors has different what's it called, frames per second. Like one monitor is 144, another monitor is 60, and the program was set to the monitor with 60, but my main display was set to the monitor with 144. So there was a conflict as to the screen refresh rate and stuff like that. So when starting the program, it looks for, hey, the monitor that the program is set to, is it the main display? If not, then like give a warning to the user, like saying, hey, it may be a good idea to set this display as your main, because if you don't, you're going to experience some lag, and it's not the fault of the program, it's the fault of the user. And that's an important distinction to bring up. So if developer is blamed for laggy movement in the game, then it's not the fault of the developer. It's the fault of the user for not understanding proper configuration. And I try as much as possible to rely on less of the user, but there's boundaries that Windows has set. So there's checkbox, revert to original display settings, and there's checkbox automatically set. In this case, I'm just going to leave one of them. So I'm going to set the monitor as the main. My screen's going to flicker here. Give me a second. I'm running a developer build. Okay, set as primary. Primary change, okay, successful. So you're gonna see I'm in the settings screen. Guess where I was originally. Got taken back to where it was. 60 frames. I'm doing this as an experiment as well to see the performance. I am currently running windowed mode, but I can change it. Borderless window or regular window or exclusive full screen. You could change the VSync options there or not. There's a whole lot of settings you could do. And I don't really want to go over one by one, but the most recent one, which is fascinating, so allows the user to change the string colors for each string, and it works as far as I tested. I'm kind of up in the air as to what I'm gonna. Oh, I hit back, but I didn't save this. I'm not gonna save it. Oh, hold on, cancel. I am going to save the primary display, yes. Okay. There's a whole lot of things that I'm trying to polish just to think of the user's perspective, because I play tested this myself as a developer, right? But if you do here, there's only so much I could catch by myself, right? There's so many departments in this project, and a lot of it I was able to catch. There's some things I could demo here as to what I mean by that. So if you just go past here, I'm gonna do something, reset all tutorials, yes. I'm gonna go back. Actually, I'm gonna restart the program. I'm gonna close it. Oh, so when I close it, it reset my displays back to what it was, so it's no longer my main display. So I have to remember that. I'm going to keep obs open, continue, and it reset this counter, but I'm going to set this as primary again, manually. Now, what I added to every screen is this tutorial walkthrough system, because I understand someone seeing the program for the first time could get overwhelmed at all the flows presented. Give me a second. So every screen, the user is presented with this tutorial walkthrough that has steps So it highlights the area of the screen, gives a little tooltip, little context, explanation, guidance, step number. This is a typical system you see in like other games. It depends. It's kind of a reusable concept, but I tried to um, refine it quite a bit. You're gonna hear a lot of background noise. So I tried to get the steps to be accurate to include the full scope of every flow and the variations of the flows presented. Because these screens are interactive, they change different states to represent numerous amount of data. There's an entire data warehouse included in this project, and I don't underestimate that. Literally millions of entries of rows in database. From my own development usage of 3 years of playtesting. Okay, so step 1, welcome. Next. And I'm not gonna focus on this because each area, when you put your mouse over it, it gives a little context anyway. But here is the little useful. So for the user to be in the loop of the current status of the project, known issues, feedback, and changelog. And at the top, you could change your profile. So, known issues I'm still working on. For the most part, it could be outdated from months of development, and I'm trying to refine, see what is actually relevant, but it's quite a lot. And then, yeah, I'm gonna don't show this again, I already saw it. Submit feedback. You're gonna be able to submit a bug or a feedback or a request, as long as this doesn't get abused with a million API calls, because it sends to a website that I log in and I see. It's like anonymously sent. All I see is the text. I don't know who sends it. Changelog. Version is going to have to change. That's an old version. I think I'm at 2.5e, but I wrote this screen at the version that I'm going to change when it actually releases. So you can see the changelog in the program itself. I imagine different branches on Steam to have a current and a previous build. Player profiles, I have some debugging test builds to test some things, because if you go into the settings, I'll come back to the walkthrough later, but in advanced I have some debug, because there's some stuff that happens when you complete songs that I would like to test to see if they function correctly without requiring a guitar in my hand to make sure it does. Bunch of variables here that change. One thing that takes so much is this language. So there's a lot of languages. And let's see what Polish is like. Change language by mistake, just click back without saving. See, like, does a half translation, but it doesn't apply until I go back, and even then right now I have to restart the program. But I don't have to restart the program to change the window display mode settings. VSync I do have to restart just to make it simpler for me. So you go to settings, it gives you the 20 tooltips-ish. Different tabs, different sections of those tabs. Splash screen. Oh yeah, that splash screen is fun. I should show that. Let's change the splash screen to be on, and then let's change the language. And then I just hit back to make sure it caught those changes. So yes, save. Now it's going to Polish, but not fully until I restart the program. So I closed it, set my main monitor back to what it was. So it should ask me to set main again. There's the splash, and then the fancy, look at this, does 360 and then sticks to the corners. Now everything's in Polish. But the annoying thing is the text sometimes doesn't fit because each language is different, and that's tough. But I'll get there. So now it's all in different language. Should be the entire project. Everywhere I go, everything should be in translation now. But yeah, there's a career walkthrough. I had to change the plane icon a while back. This screen I'm not 100% happy in the layout, but it does get the steps across. You have to choose 3 different steps, and then you have different presets. First you have to choose 1, then 2, then 3. And in this case it's taken me through a walkthrough again because it hit a certain flow. But I'm gonna go back. Hey, is that not Polish? You need more you need 5 more songs in E standard to play this venue. Visit the song database. That looks like a mistranslation. Gonna take a note. All right, let me go back to, wait, hold on. Did I see something? So yeah, this is another change on the in progress. You could actually like interact with it and go directly to the venue that's in progress and then back to where you were. I added a toggle a celebration screen when you complete a section, so I completed this country on the progress to master it. So it's like a little celebration screen. But let me go back to the English. Great. Now part of that, there we go. Save. Restart program. Is it just me or did the startup screen like fast forward? Oh, that's lame. I clicked right past it. Okay. Continue, set primary. Excuse all the background noise. Career mode. So there's a career walkthrough. Shows you, oh, you're supposed to select a country. So it kind of like highlights it and says, here, this represents a country. See the status of it. See the tooltip. It doesn't mention the green, well, I guess the legend does. More countries, there's the legend, what the colors mean, the profile, progress. Country has cities, cities have status. Venues in progress. It fakes the data if you're in a new profile. So it works with existing and new. So if I go in this new profile, it has no data in it. Like I'm just starting level 1, it has different status on it. It has to work for each person, that no matter what status or they have in their data, provides fake data. So see, it says it's locked here, and the previous profile is in progress, you completed. None in progress there. Inside of a city, shows you what that does. Different selection modes, preferences, and then the steps you have to go through. Statuses. Not, there's too much empty space here. I have to figure out. Difficulty levels and the venue, the set list for the venue, the songs, the play button, the status. After you play it, it'll update the set list based on the status, lock the difficulty, and show the status. I had to make sure a bunch of things worked with the set list. And this walkthrough properly goes over all of it. 2 ways to build it. Either you play automatically or you manually define it. And the status, 1 set list per day, shows this play order. Create ones manually. Song library, add songs, whatever. Little pop-up. Basically walking through the current version, how to use it. Status as a draft, because you create it, you put this track list down, but you haven't actually played it. But you play next song here, then yes, after you play it, it'll give you a play ID, and it'll show it as in progress. That's just fake data. Hey, back on my profile. I don't remember if I switched it, but okay. So you generate the track list, and I have to work on the output where this goes to. But this is for like the video audio recording. Give it the titles. Then yeah, even a tutorial for the main gameplay area, how to read the notes, frets, chords, how to control it, starting, stopping a song, song info, tempo, stats, buttons. During gameplay, you only have the stop and pause buttons and the song info. Then when you're paused, you have to just play it again. Stats, walkthrough, play history, summary, stats. Different buttons highlights what they do, and it tells you you're supposed to highlight and click a stat. And it takes you to this screen and goes over how that is. Tempo. Yeah, it even goes through the whole screen of what its current version is, how to read it, what all the different features are. What the buttons do, what the settings are. And then even the open song screen. Excuse all the background noise. Don't know the correct way of using the mic yet here. The times played. I mean, the Open Guitar Pro. I did a lot of polish here too. Other than the walkthrough, different buttons. Yeah, there's a lot of things I added here recently. The icons, you can see if it's a folder or a song. So it walks you through it. You select the tuning, now you select the artist. And then this is a mix of albums and songs. But I gotta get a better demo of songs mixed in here. And then there's different toggles you could do. Oh, I gotta change that step around. See, I don't know how it works yet when you toggle that on a folder. I think it's only for the song you could toggle it, but that step's highlighting it on the folders. See, here you're supposed to do it on the song. Click a song to start, and then I added a different view. You could view all the songs and then apply filters to them instead. And then here, I'm not sure which view is better, but I could have different options, I guess. But you could toggle which artist is on or not. So let's say I don't want E standard, I just cross it off and then it just gets filtered out. And let's say I don't want test songs, so they just get removed. Then I don't want my own songs, I want someone else's. And then I don't want drop D. Let's say I just want E flat. And then just Thin Lizzy. It's a cross off one rather than a, like they're all crossed on by default right now anyway. So it doesn't filter by arrangement because you pick the song and then you pick the arrangement when you pick the song, but probably I could add arrangement on here because not all songs have all arrangements. Let's see this. These are toggle filters. So favorites let you like just filter out your favorites. But the other icon, want to learn, is what is used for the career mode. It signifies that wants to get chosen in set lists. So oh yeah, the Measure Master. I'm working on this right now. So the walkthrough is pretty good. Shows how the current version works. Just working on the practice cue. So if I select measures, I don't like how it says measure 0, but that's a programming thing. So I add it to the queue because it says I need to work on them. Oh wait, hold on. See, it gets confusing to read, right? The mastered, actually, no, clear. Let me try some. Oh, the mouse is off. Look at that. The mouse is index once you clear, once you clear it, now you add it and then you clear it. Nope. I don't know. Something made the mouse position off. But apparently I mastered these actually. So I would need measure 55, measure 61, measure 83. Wait, why can't I click 83? Oh, I right click. That's fun. Okay. start. So it's going to do measure 55, 60%. I'm not sure what 60% means, but start it. And it took me back to the tooltips. That's not intended. All right. How is the note movement? Oh, it went so quick. And so did that flash. It said something there. I think I completed it. Let's try again. This tooltip shouldn't show. The note movement on the video, how is it? Cue complete all sections practiced. Add, add, add. 3 of them. Skip. That's a bug. I'm not doing the remember toggle so I could remember to fix the bug. 2 cue items remaining. See, I'm just getting it functional right now. Like, you select a song, you add the measure, you add the cue, you start the cue, takes you to the other screen, you play it, takes you back. That's just functional right now, but it's getting refined. Like, perhaps there's more detail to that. Perhaps it should play twice, 3 times, but we're getting there. So I'm toggled by the recent songs, but you can see I have S grade on it. It's only 3 measures that it says I'm learning, because the average mastery is 67 accuracy. Whereas if you look at the other ones, average accuracy 100, measure 0 to 23. It's pretty good stats. I don't know why the mouse highlight position is off, but I could look into it. It's not always like that. Like, it breaks when it wants. Let's change it to mastery week. This one. Mastery break. Where's the measures at? -1? That's not good. Okay. Maybe it's from 2023. Old data. I could look into that. Let's see. Lead arrangement, E flat. We'll look at some. Oh yeah, I know this song, the Jack. The intro is not the usual finger placement, so it throws me off. I'm gonna clear the cue. I'm gonna add measures 1 through 4. Add cue. I don't know what the difference is between start practice and start cue. I have to look into that. It just may be duplicate. Still working on this screen. Okay, this is a new feature that I just did, just like very recent, like yesterday, last night. The logic of large chords. I know it's going to be brought up in my program from feedback if anyone else tries it. 1 sec. So the chords currently, by the time I release the program, early access, I'm only gonna support 3 notes in a chord. So that's for what's displayed and the visual note hit detection. Excuse the background noise here. Fuzziness. One sec. C suite. There, I just had to toggle it. Okay, so let's say the user opens a guitar profile and then there's a chord with more than 3 notes. In the developer builds in the past, it was an issue. They would only pick 3 of those 4, 5, or 6 note chords, and there was no logic behind it. Just pick them randomly, chords that don't even exist, just whatever note it finds 3 first of those 6. So I had to address it because my initial resolution was, well, I'll just edit the guitar profile to be 2 or 3 notes rather than 4, 5, or 6. But that's not a long-term solution. The long-term solution is to actually address the issue, not solve it per se. I mean, I'm not going to add support for that just yet because I don't play them. I don't want them. I think they're useless. But I don't want to stop other people from doing that. But at the same time, let me just get to it. So this, I added this. So this system, when you open a song, that it detects what I define as large chords with more than 3 notes in them. This pop-up comes up and asks the user how to address it. There's 2 preferences the user has available. The first is choosing whether or not you want, or sorry, choosing the if you prefer 2-note chords or 3-note chords. Because if you take a chord with, you know, more than 4 notes, there's going to be 2 or 3 note variations of those. You just take out 1 or 2 notes, right? It's your preference, how many notes. And then on top of that preference, do you prefer the lower strings or the higher strings? So that applies to such as a bar chord. You take your first finger, you're barring all, what, the 6th and 5th and the 1st and the 2nd. And this is saying, rather than doing that, would you rather the 5th and 6th or the 1st and 2nd string variation of that chord in a 2 or 3 note version? And then it gives a little context, like, note, if you want to change the setting, you have to go back to this area. Settings, edit track assignments, reset chord preferences. Because once you set it, it saves it into like a file, and it'll never ask you again unless you go back and specifically want to modify it. So in this instance, I'm going to say 2-note chords, lower strings. Perhaps I could modify this to be more dynamic, but for now it's just, and it'll pop up in a screen after. This is a bug. It should not be popping up. Hold on. You're gonna hear me typing. You're just gonna have to deal with it. I'll figure it out later. So this is a dev session. All right. This is how I spend all my free time anyway. Just join me as a user perspective. So I did start, practice. How is the note movement in the video? Like in OBS, it kind of looks a little smooth, but as on my screen with the notes, it looks smooth. So it's going to fix that bug when you do the start cue and it pops up with the tooltip here. So I'm going to fix that real quick. How do you like the background noise? Hope it's not too disruptive. Also, so that's not the only way to do that measure repeat idea thing. There's this settings, playback, measure controls, start measure, end measure, and you can see it set it for you by going through that practice cue system, but it didn't yet set the repeat times, which can be considered. But there's things that I was trying to work on right now in particular, where if you go, I don't want to go, I don't want to, what? How could I start it without having any? Unless it started what I highlighted, I don't know. Start cue. So I selected measures 0 through 23. What happens if I just, see, I don't like that. You tricked the system right here. You're saying that I'm starting these 20 measures, but you go and start it, bug, and then you just stop it immediately and it says, oh, good job, you completed it. Nope, not true. I only did 1 second of it. So just, that's what my current focus is on. This current flow of this system, getting it ironed out. So skip. I'm gonna try to emulate that scenario. Nope. Here we go. So if I'm in the career mode and I go to a set list and it doesn't generate a set list, there's some reason as to why that happens. There's some calculation to how songs are chosen. But this screen pops up and says, couldn't generate a set list. Ask the user instead. So it gives a little tooltip on the current version. Because let's say you need 5 songs, it currently has 2 out of 5. And you could add a song, but if you want more copies of the song, you gotta press these plus buttons. It'll say how many times it's selected. And this is a bug. It's highlighting blank. So if I select a song, then I could choose it 5 times because it needs 5 songs. Oh, the biggest thing also that I changed is there's no more OpenGL. Whoa, that was loud. It's running on Vulkan. It's logical. It has a home planet. But it's also much smoother than OpenGL. It's native to Windows and Mac. On Mac in particular, there was an issue. It ran fine for so long with OpenGL. And then Apple had to come out with an update that boosted the priority of their own proprietary, or their own, what do you say, in-house graphics rendering called Metal. And then because of that, OpenGL took some performance hits because everything OpenGL had to do goes through a translation layer that adds additional steps. And this became a problem for this software because when I would use OBS, it was latency. And it was introduced by that concept. And yeah, currently using Vulkan and Metal natively, and it has increased performance. It's the best performance possible. I did so much debugging on the performance on uh, like whatever it's called, where the note, when you play the song, whatever it's called, when the note movement, right? It's the most important thing. Say you have a guitar in your hand. This note movement is the most important thing of everything. It has to be predictable from the user who's looking at it, knowing when to play the note. And I don't know how well it's coming across off video, but on the screen that I'm looking at with the game on windowed mode, it's very smooth. There's no, see, the definition of the movement, there's different descriptions of the non-smoothness. You could say it's jittery, laggy, but that when you try to explain what it does, it's difficult. Does it teleport down and then move back up? Does it just move blocky? There's very descriptive analysis to understand the behavior. But to say the least, I have extensive logging on every single frame and how much space I have. So the performance that I'm doing, I don't have the exact numbers on me, but the percentages, let's just say I have like 98% like leverage per frame. I'm only using like 2% of the, so every frame, right? It's like 0.1666667 or whatever it is. 167, or it's like a really long decimal. But as per how many frames a second there is, and the goal of getting that displayed on the monitor, I spent years literally on getting the best result of that. And I come to a good understanding of the concept. All that to say is it appears that I could add a lot more per frame if I wanted to, because this is as optimized as I could get the current format that I have. This is entirely GPU. I don't think there's much, if anything, going on CPUs wise right now. There might be when you get the guitar in your hand and you're playing along, and it just, there's like logic of checking if a note was hit, if you played that string and that fret at that time. That's like the CPU. But as far as like what's on the screen, the logic of like when the notes display, there's lots of layers to it. But I could add more of like polish or fancy features here. This is like bare bones to get it functional. But it's I've reached a point where it's like as smooth as it could get in the, like, timing wise, like the current song time, the note time, the speed of the notes, when they should start, when they should reach the area, and then when you're playing the guitar, when the guitar aligns with what's displayed on the screen. that there's a lot of optimization uh, that I've that area those the gameplay loop is an area that I've spent a lot of time optimizing to be as like efficient as possible. To no matter what hardware is running it. So that's another thing that I did in a previous session, but I didn't really describe. There's a if I remember how to get there, if I even have it here. Oh, no, not that. Calib. Did I remove it? Oh, no, yeah. It's in the guitar input screen, not the settings screen. So I added a walkthrough here. Calibrate latency. So I did this because this goes on what the input device is the user is using. Like I'm using a universal audio twin device. And then I also have like a Scarlett Solo device that I plug the guitar into and this interface, and the interface goes into the computer. There's latency from that input signal. So by the time you pluck the string, it's latency that is different than the chunk size. So chunk size is its own latency. It's kind of, I think it's different than that. It's like whatever. But when you do this, it acts like a normal song. Like you play 6-string open string, and it calibrates like, oh, when it detects it and all that. But I don't have the guitar in hand, so it's okay. Let's see. Screen no longer flickers when changing arrangements, which was always annoying. But it does load the notes differently, so you're on the lead, and it does that, and then you're on the rhythm, and it does this. I just want to note, I'm not seeing any lag on my version of the program. I don't know how it's coming across on the video though. The main thing is as long as the user doesn't see the lag. But yeah, that works. Stats. Don't show this again. Wait, what? E flat. Why am I in E flat? That's why I don't have any stats, because I'm set to E flat. Tuning E standard. The stats depend on the tuning. Like you could change the tuning for a song. It'll change the stats differently. I don't know if that's explicitly clear to the user. The biggest thing too I did recently is or another big thing I did recently is the files. I used to only support .Guitar Pro 5 files, but I recently added support for .gp, Guitar Pro 7 and 8 files, to be more global universal, so the user doesn't have to export as GP5. And I'm pretty sure it's one-to-one, like it has the same support. Like at first, the repeating bar measures were broke. Then the note effects were broke. Didn't have palm mutes or whatever. But I'm pretty sure I got it. And the thing is, I have to figure out is they're both considered the same song. Like you go in the stats on this one, the .gp file has stats, And then you go to the stats of the .gp5 file. It has the same stats. It's the same song. They're not differentiated. And you may notice when I go to the Guitar Pro, like the open song area, it remembers where I was in the tuning. That's another setting. You go to settings. Don't show it again. So it doesn't do the tutorials again unless I do this reset button for debugging purposes. I could reset particular. Oh, let me test something. Try the fix. I think that bug is fixed when I do the start cue or add. Yeah, it doesn't. Oh, I gotta put the measure master. Oh, what the? I said measure master, not start menu. Oh, I reset all of them, didn't I? Except for the measure master. Oh, okay. And it didn't even display. Reset. Man, if I could use my own program correctly. All right, trying to get it to bug out. Start queue. Let me restart the program. I don't think I restarted it. I'm trying to get rid of this bug when you hit start queue, it does the tooltip again. Just have to restart. It's going to reset my displays. It's going to, oops. I don't want to skip past that. I don't like how I could click past the splash screen. Look at it. 360, spin, hold. Okay. Set as primary. And then go back here. Skip. Start queue. Nope. Still displayed. Start practice immediately practices the measures you selected on a heat map right now. 1 off. Start queue starts the first item in the practice queue. Thought so. Okay. Start practice doesn't like track. It just like is it start practice and goes right in. Hey, should the back button? I think the back button should go back to the measure master screen. The key to programming is to have fun with typing. So, okay, so I'm looking into those two things. Start practice shouldn't show this tooltip for the measure master, and when you go back, it should take you back to the measure master, not the start menu. Just like when you go through this flow, and you go to here. Oh, actually, you go to any unplayed song, skip, and then you go back. It takes you back to the venue set list because I'm not going to open the career, go back to the venue, go back all there. Just want to go back and go back just one click. So I'm going to try the same thing here. See this screen in particular, I haven't really spent much time functionality wise. So it's just an area that I finally am able to get to now. Trying to get all the functionality polished. On the Steam version, there is no sync version tab here. This is only on the dev version because it synchronizes with the server. The user manifest, the server manifest. I'm trying to think, what are some other backgrounds? GuitarSesh, this is the ugly one. Maybe I could improve this. This is supposed to be a stack of amps here in a guitar surfing, but that looks nothing like a guitar. Oh wow, and it just broke. The UFO just glitched it all out. That's fun. Fix the guitar surf. Set as primary. Change background before it crashes again. It's the UFO that crashed it. When beam height is less than a certain amount, it crashes. Good to know. This background could be wired up to work with the guitar input. So when you pluck the string, it'll show the volume in the background or whatever. But right now it's just emulating that. Once again, the movement of this is smooth on my screen. I don't know how it's coming off on video. See, this one's cool, but it's left to right, when these are up to down. Vertical, horizontal. See, like, but then, like, this is wired in for the menu in the center. You can see some extra real estate on the bottom. This is supposed to be a nebula. Could also try doing the buttons laid out on the bottom or the sides. This one I changed a little bit to be like a zoomed in version with just showing the buildings. Added the moon spotlights. Tried to fix the text on the buildings. Might be yeah, a jet there chasing down a UFO. It's not quite ironed out. The UFO could like go in the building, which doesn't make sense. Spotlights are on the UFO. The UFO crashes in the building when it gets hit from the jet or helicopter, perhaps. Abducts a person from the building. Helicopter shooting at it, hit it, and then it's gonna go in the. That's where it doesn't make sense. It should crash on a building rooftop, not in the building. Started to rain a little bit. Then the clouds are just gonna disappear out of nowhere. That's what I don't like. Can't tell if the rain's going through the buildings. See, the clouds just disappeared out of nowhere. Let me try restarting program. I'm sure there could be way more interesting backgrounds. But the background stuff is more like when there's nothing else to do. It's not the highest priority. All right, let's try the Measure Master. Start. Whoa, see that? It flashed. And let me go back. Cool. Progress. The only thing now is there's a flash. See that flash when you hit start queue? It flashes the Measure Master screen really quick for like 1 frame. Oh, maybe you don't see it on video. That's weird. You don't see it on video, but it happens on my screen. It flashes the Measure Master screen for 1 frame. So let me try refreshing it. My monitors are not gonna like me changing the main and back and forth. Okay, try this again. Yeah, that worked. Okay, well, this is basically what a dev session is like. I'm still gonna iron out some things. Starting to run out of things to iron out, which means it's time for early access public release in June. So just gonna leave it at that, I guess. Come back for the next devlog. I was trying to think, is there anything else? I mean, look at this leaderboard. It's all 100%. I gotta fix the tuning or the text display here. That looks horrible. The localization messed up everything. I don't like having ellipsis. It's ellipsis and text wider than buttons. What else? Click, click, click. I think that's it for now. Oh, I haven't showed you what this view my stats is. It generates the HTML of your like a report card. I'm not going to show that right now, unless I could get it to display. Let me see if that's possible. Let me see if that's possible. That would be pretty neat. Because it generates a HTML file. So you have to view it outside of this window. But I wonder if there's a way to view it in the window. You see the tooltips under each option here? Oh, wow. Oh, no, it's a bit difficult. I'd have to add a browser engine. Man, that's too much. All right. I guess I'll leave it at that for now. Early access, I set public release June 12th. So from now till then, I'm just polishing, optimizing, communicating with the user. There's actually another flow that you get when your power plan is set to something other than high performance. And then you have another pop-up warning that says your monitor is not set to 60 frames per second. So I think we're pretty much good. Just a matter of bugs, crashes, anything I missed. But I try to get everything. But I'm going to leave it at that.